Garret Flower from Parkpnp. Welcome to IrishStartupTV.
Thanks for having me.
Moreover, thanks very much for hosting today in Crust Bakery.
Cheers, cheers.
Pretty cool hangout. Do you hang out here often?
Yeah, hang out here all the time.
Loaded question. So Garret founded
Crust. Yeah, I founded Crust with Rob Kramer 4 years ago. Just over 4 years ago. We both tasted these amazing mini pastries and started baking them in my apartment, Temple Bar, and selling them just over there. and started selling them to cafes around Dublin. That quickly grew. We managed to convince some bakers to bake for us on a commercial scale, and now over 4 years, we now sell into 500 locations across Ireland. We set up a retail headquarters here on George's Street, across the road from the George pub, and we do the world famous cronut, croissants, beautiful Marley coffee, and
actually
come in and say IrishStartupTV and get a discount. But yeah, last September I bought a car for the first time, and I was driving to a party with my girlfriend in Ranelagh, and spent 25 minutes looking for a parking space, couldn't find it anywhere. I immediately regretted owning a car.
Yeah, got it off one end of it, doesn't it?
It's like, this is a use. I could have easily gotten the Lewis. But yeah, I started seeing all these houses driving around with just massive amounts of space. And I use Airbnb a lot, and I just thought, God, there must be a way that you can just use an app to park in one of these people's spaces. So I thought, geez, this might be a good idea. The girlfriend loved the idea too, so went back to the office downstairs and started googling why has this happened before, is this anywhere? And turns out in the US this is blowing up. So yeah, in the last 3 years there's been 5 major companies in the US just blow up, going from funding rounds to 6, 15 million. And I mean,
are they viable businesses? When you say blowing up, is it that they're getting massive users, or is it that they're raising huge money?
So the reason I like this business is because it's in the parking industry. The parking industry is, among different business people, it's known as the best business model in the world. I mean, you set up shop, very low maintenance, very low administration, very low employees costs.
You don't really need any employees.
Yeah. It's ticking over, so it's just there. It's an asset, and I knew there was something in the parking industry, so I looked further and started reaching out to the guys in the US to see what's the current situation in the market. And one of the guys we brought on board, our sales director Donald, actually met the CEO of Spot Hero, one of the biggest. He met him in Amsterdam, and he said he's doing 2.4 million parking spaces this year alone.
In Amsterdam?
He's done that already, yeah. So this is a huge market that's just exploding in the US at a rate that other marketplaces have seen in the past. So this is just starting in Europe. In the UK, one company in particular, Just Park, who are doing the residential, have got investment from Richard Branson. They're growing fast.
Richard Branson also was one of the early guys with Halo as well.
Exactly, yeah. Then in Europe, there's not really much going on. So we figured that, look, I thought, look, let's see if I can flesh this out some more. So went to a few guys I'd met in the startup circle, Dan Paul being one, Diego and Kaio, a few developers who I was really fond of and really.
Yeah, there are a couple of guys that have actually got a lot of experience with building out ideas.
And really impressed me every time I met them. Really impressed me. Jackson and these guys, I approached and just said, would you be interested in this type of project? And thankfully they came on board.
How did you meet those guys?
I met them at a Bank of Ireland event. Bank of Ireland are great for promoting startup businesses.
You're a customer at Bank of Ireland as well.
Yeah. Bank of Ireland really pushed us for Crust. Pushed us in a nationwide campaign, had us on all the ATMs, and all the banks, and it was just really good exposure for Crust Bakery.
Was this like a networking event or a startup specific?
It was a pitch event run by Gene Murphy.
Yeah.
and it was really cool.
RG.
And yeah, no, it was really good. And I met the guys at that. I think we were actually catering for the event. Crust was catering for the event, so we just, myself and Rob, stayed around and started chatting to all the guys in the area. And yeah, it was just really good to meet them. And I asked them to come on board and gave them a really heavy deadline of 1 month to get the MVP done. So they pushed it really hard to get the MVP in 1 month, and then I started really getting...
See, as a team, those guys have a track record as well of delivering product over a startup weekend.
Yeah, exactly. They won 2 startup weekends, you know, so they're really good guys. And yeah, so brought them on board, and they're now shareholders in Parkpnp, and really pushing hard to get... like currently we have our apps on iOS and Android live, so you can download Parkpnp, and also the website is live, so you can list your space. Say you have a space near the hotspots of Dublin, so around any of the sports stadiums, near any of the commuter stops, so yeah, any of the commuter stops, the Lewis, the Dart, near any of those, near the airport, you have valuable parking space. So you should put up your space, no matter where you are. You should put up your space and just see, because it's just lying there dead.
And stick the links as well below.
It's links below, but we have, if you think of parking space, it's finite. So if you don't park today, then you know your product is gone for yesterday, so you can't use it. So list your space, you can make money. And then our apps, when you download the app, you can see the spaces listed, and you can rent space in town or outside town, or if you're going to the airport, and then save money. So you know, our marketplace allows you to make money and save money. Since we've launched, we've had huge interest. We've also figured out how to tie in hardware and commercial. So we will be the first company in Europe to allow car parks to install this piece of hardware. Okay, so we install the hardware. It takes an hour to do.
Where did that hardware come from? So you have a hardware that enables people to get in and out of public access of car parks.
So you download the app, you'll see the commercial listings separate to the residential, and you can click enter, a QR code will pop up in your app. You can drive in, say Brown Thomas car park, they're listed there. We'll be installing their hardware soon, and you can click enter, the QR code comes in, and you get rid of cash. The barrier opens, you're straight in. When you're leaving, you just pop against our piece of hardware, and out you go. Forget cash, forget having to take out 20 euros and winning the lottery when you put it in.
Was that your technology, or are you plugging into their technology?
Yeah, so the hardware is in over 1,000 car parks in the US currently. It's a new piece of technology.
And that technology came, and this is a loaded question, because the SVOD conference that was organised by a bunch of Ukrainian investors to give access originally to Silicon Valley, but now also to the Irish market for people from Ukraine and from Eastern Europe. And there was some guys from Romania, and they had a little widget, and it was to enable access to other people's car parks.
Yeah.
Where did your technology come from then? It came from the US, or did you develop it?
Yeah, no, it came from the US.
Okay.
So I met the guy who owns the business. It's not in Europe currently, but it's in over 1,000 car parks in the US. It's doing extremely well. Each car park is seeing on average of $15,000 to $60,000 per month increase in sales. So, you know, this is where we want to be, and we're connecting our software, our apps that are ready to go on our website with our marketing campaign, which we're rolling out soon, to the hardware. So we're actually giving a package, ready-made package, to hotels near the airport, hotels in city centre who have this space and aren't renting it out, or car parks who say mightn't be busy on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday normally, and
it's a two-sided market. That's really exciting. So if I'm a customer and I want to find car parking space, you can help with that, or the app can help with that.
Yeah.
But also, if I'm, for argument's sake, a hotel and I know I'm going to have a quiet period where my car park is perhaps kind of excess capacity, well then I can attract perhaps shoppers. Say at Christmas time would probably be a great example of that.
Yeah, exactly. So look, parking is always in demand. IBM, in well-known studies, say that 30% of your driving time goes to parking.
Really?
Yeah, so that's 2 days of your life per year, which is nuts. You know, when I read
the app right now, you save 2 days of your life.
2 days,
over
imagine 2 days more holidays.
Yeah.
You know, anyone would buy that.
Yeah.
So it's literally linking people to parking spaces. We're also offering the car park operators a chance to market their spaces on days where traditionally they're not as busy, to market those spaces to our users. So we're looking to have over 60,000 users of the app by the end of this year. So you know, you're targeting a market of 60,000 people for your car parking space. You know, you're creating this extra buzz that was never traditionally there. No car park operator or hotel was able to market on this scale for their 20 car parking spaces, or their 30 or their 100 car parking spaces.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because if we think about car parking in Ireland, we think about, you know, everything in Ireland is small in terms of market size. But if we think about this in terms of an advertising play as well, suddenly it's a very different proposition.
Yeah, and for example, one of our first adopters, Ray Pearce, he was the former CEO of Q Park.
Oh wow!
And Q Park of 60,000 car parks.
They're the guys that made the little tag as well, aren't they?
No. They pushed out a company called Parking Tags. So they have like a tag.
Yeah. But that's not app enabled.
No,
it's quite inefficient because if I come up to the end of an hour, automatically I'm going to get charged for another hour. Maybe I'd like a reminder that tells me, hey, you're coming up to the hour. So your product is perhaps going to be more customer centric.
Exactly. It's going to be more emphasis on our marketing. So more emphasis on revenue growth, more emphasis on just pushing it.
Let's go. Okay, so we had a little bit of an interruption there because Video Killed the Radio Star, no jokes, came on the radio right now. I actually love that.
Yeah, sorry everybody. But yeah, so in terms of what we're going to offer people, I mean, it's extreme upside. It's enabling technology, and that's what technology is for. It's to see growth in areas that weren't previously there.
So on that note, and I think it's a great thing to focus on, is that you're not a developer, but you've managed to identify the technology opportunity, and you've managed to identify what I would argue is one of the most talented young teams of developers in Ireland at the moment. Was that a bit of luck?
Was that luck? I feel that I've earned luck after 4 years of hard graft setting up a business of crust bakery.
So you deserve it, or you figured out how to create your own success?
I think that you learn over many experiences, many mistakes, let's say, how to motivate a team, how to encourage and show your vision of a team. And you know, what I really showed the guys was an opportunity that would enhance every one of their personal shared missions. So they all want to be part of the biggest startup to come out of Ireland. Everybody wants that, you know. Everyone wants to be associated with the success of this. So
what do you think motivates people on the success side to be part of the biggest startup? Is it the fame and fortune, is it the money, or is it building a cool product?
It depends on the person. Okay. So I believe that, you know, we're all starting out in our careers well, the guys are especially, and you know, they've got a lot of success, but to get to that next level, you know, we want to scale into a different country as well. So none of us have done that. So like Crust, we sell into the UK and Canada, which is great, but to actually set up offices in different parts of the world, you know, and to actually set up this Parkpnp, which actually has so much potential for scale. I think that's really what got the guys on board. They seen the vision.
It's such a big problem, and car parking.
Yeah.
Like, I remember talking to an Indian guy down in the Karma Accelerator that was run by Sean O'Sullivan in Cork, and I was talking to him about the Irish market, and then we were talking about the US market, and his specific area of interest was an app to aggregate transport. And I said, you know, are you excited about America? And he started giving me some numbers, which I've now forgotten, but it's something like 20 million vehicle users and 15 million cell phone users in Delhi alone.
Yeah.
So when you
big
start
time.
to think about the scale and the market opportunity for vehicles and anything related to vehicles,
it's crazy. When like our financial advisor Roy, he he's a really intelligent guy who is part of Ernst & Young, and he was just going through the numbers with me about the potential. And, realistically, we had to scale down a lot just to focus. Yeah. So like people kept coming back to us and saying, that's an extremely high number in 3 years. And we kept having to tone it down, and our assumptions.
You know what, you guys, you should talk to the Funded Arena guys.
Yeah.
When I interviewed them recently, Richard made a great point, because we were talking about the challenges of selling oneself as an Irish person.
Yeah.
If you go to the US and you're like, oh, I have a bit of an idea, you'll get laughed off the stage. But if in Ireland you say, we're going to take over the world, you get laughed off the stage. But Richard focused on this business of, really setting the goal high, setting the bar higher, and creating that excitement.
Yeah.
How do you manage that balance between creating excitement and by setting realistic, achievable goals?
I think that I think it's good to have excitement, but I think it's good to have clear goals that you hit every week. So, for example, the team, we have a demo day every 2 weeks. We have a session, an idea session for the week every week on a Monday. So we have very set goals each week, and I think success comes after weekly hitting targets and small steps. So I mean, you manage excitement in the way of, you get shit done and you enjoy the fact that you're working towards a goal, and the excited to work comes at the same time. I think you can get giddy and excited, but as long as you get the shit done, that's fine.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is it's more focus on building something and then talking about it, rather than what I personally hate, which is people going, oh, guess what, it's coming, and setting perhaps an unrealistic or hyped expectation and then maybe not being able to deliver.
Yeah, I think a big part of what I bring to the team is the fact that, I want to set up an actual business. I'm not focused on just raising investment. It's an actual business that we need to create, which makes money. Focused on how do we get the efficiencies into the business in terms of cost, how do we get the max amount of profit in terms of, we're not spending silly money on office space. It's realistically what I'm bringing to the table is I'm bringing experience in a traditional business and trying to push forward this into a tech environment.
And to what extent, because you've scaled a real world business, like I think a cafe, I actually ran a cafe when I was 16, and so I recognise, thank you, I recognise that it's incredibly tangible, and in fact just thinking about it now on reflection, maybe this is why I believe in this build, show, iterate, build, show, a sort of a staggered approach rather than creating hype. So to what extent do you think that experience of having to ship an actual product has influenced your style when it comes to leading this new app business?
I think it's completely shaped it. I think that I'm running a wholesale distribution business nationwide and in 2 different countries, in Canada and the UK, that I've done that. I've built a team. I've employed 15. I've gone through all that hard graft of learning all those things. So now we're in a position where I can leave that. I've hired people in place to take over, and I can put all that straight into this. And I mean, really
so that experience
do it in an efficient
product is definitely
do it in an efficient. I'd say pretty speedy way. Like we started last September, and now we have live apps, live website, live sales team. Marketing campaign ready to roll out. We have Enterprise Ireland backing us. And we're just ready to go after less than a year. So I'm pretty proud of what we've done, but also cautious that we need to, stay on target, keep hitting the small targets.
What could help you right now for anybody watching the video as it's published? obviously go and sign up, and again we'll link to the app.
So what could help us right now is we're closing out our funding round. So Enterprise Ireland have matched 250,000, and we have investors who've committed. What we're looking to do is get the best possible offers from the best
You're looking for smart
profile.
money, right?
Yeah, smart money. We want the best possible team to help us scale. So if you're interested in having a talk with myself, email Garret@Parkpnp.com and check out the website list and sign up and download the apps immediately.
Are you looking to hire?
Yes, we're looking to hire. We're hiring 3 salespeople straight away. Having interviews for the next 2 weeks. If you're interested, let us know. Email team@parkpnp.com and get involved in Ireland's fastest growing startup.
Garret, you're an absolute inspiration, man. Thanks so much for your time.
Cheers, man. Appreciate it. Let's get some cronuts.
Amazing, let's do it.